and then I'm going to start the stream.
Okay.
Okay, we're recording right now. All right, and then we'll do silent, and then. And we should be live, hopefully. Welcome to tonight's episode of Get the News Straight. I'm your host, Glenn Sutphin. This is my co-host, Chris Dorsey. Chris?
Greetings. Greetings to the body of the people. I'm just letting everybody online know we're going live. And then we're going to start covering a lot of ground. It's important that some folks watch. This is an intelligence report. And, if you want to know what's going on in the criminal occupied government, we're going to let you know from the local level to the federal level to the international level. We've got them all dead to rights, and we're going to enforce the law, and we're going to expose exactly how these guys are committing these crimes and their treason in detail. So, what do you want to start with tonight, Glenn? We got anything, any number of things we can cover.
Let's cover the week in review first.
Okay.
What we did this week, the fiasco of the what we call that, Tea Party fiasco, whatever that was. That was open to the public and then became private, and then whatever it was. That was... Yeah,
that's not the first time that's happened at the Tea Party. But let's explain exactly what you mean by that. Okay, so there was a Tea Party event that was scheduled for the Richmond Tea Party, and there was a scheduled appearance by a member of the Virginia House of Delegates, a person named Lee Ware. And so I saw, this through, I guess basically it was just through the Tri-Cities Liberty Alliance mailing list. And there was a lot of chatter about this particular meeting. And so when the day of, I alerted Glenn and I alerted Chris Lane, and we all met out there, and we went into the Tea Party meeting, and we went to talk to a few folks in the Tri-Cities Liberty Alliance and put forward our agenda.
And also to ask questions about what, because we were trying to figure out what was going on, see what was going on.
And see what was going on.
And they said, come and ask questions.
Right.
We came, we started asking questions. They told us, shut up.
Right. I mean, they did it more than just like shut up. It was, they were very confrontational. Maybe we can share that video. From the event on the event page now, if folks haven't seen it. And basically what happened was I approached Lee Ware with this document, and I can read it.
Go ahead and read.
Yeah, I'll read it. This is approached members of the Tri-Cities Liberty Alliance with. And Delegate Lee Ware, and it begins, and it says, Virginia militia call to muster. It says, whereas all men by nature are by nature equally free and independent and have certain inherent rights of which, when they enter the state of society, they cannot by any compact deprive or divest our posterity, namely the enjoyment of life, liberty, with the means of acquiring and possessing property and pursuing and obtaining happiness and safety. And our property, our only property, are our God-given rights. That's my interpretation of that beginning part of the Virginia law, the Virginia Constitution. Whereas governments are instituted among men deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government. whereas all power is vested and consequently derived from the people, that magistrates are their trustees and servants, and at all times amenable to them. Whereas government is or ought to be instituted for the common benefit, protection, and security of the people, nation, or community, of all various modes and forms of government, that is best which is capable of producing the greatest degree of happiness and safety, and is most effectually secured against the danger of maladministration. And that when government shall be found inadequate or contrary to these purposes, a majority of the community has the indubitable, inalienable, and indefeasible right to reform, alter, or abolish it in such manner as shall be judged most conducive to the public weal. Whereas the freedom of the press is one of the great bulwarks of liberty and can never be restrained but despotic governments. Sounds familiar.
Hey, that sounds like what they went totally against while we were there, telling us to get the heck out of there.
Right.
Yeah, and
well, again.
Well, we got it up on the screen here.
Awesome.
So
this is what we're presenting to a Virginia government official who is our servant. Whereas a regulated militia composed of the body of the people trained to arms is the proper, natural, and safe defense of a free state, that standing armies in time of peace should be avoided as dangerous to liberty, and that in all cases the military should be under strict subordination to and governed by the civil power. Okay, this is from the Virginia militia call to muster. Whereas religion, or the duty which we owe to our Creator, and the manner of discharging it, can be directed only by reason and conviction, not by force or violence, and therefore all men are equally entitled to the free exercise of religion according to the dictates of their conscience, and that it is the mutual duty of all to practice Christian forbearance, love, and charity toward each other. Christian forbearance. What does Jesus say about usury? Whereas government agents and agencies act contrary to the law they affirm to uphold. This is not from the Virginia Constitution, but it is a statement of fact that we are presenting, the militia is presenting to these guys. Whereas privately owned foreign controlled banking whereas a privately owned foreign controlled banking institution, the Federal Reserve Bank, unlawfully controls the government's finances and defrauds the people with debt. I would love for anyone to attempt to disagree with that statement. It's the fact. We, in some way, in a relative nature, are debt slaves to the Federal Reserve Bank, which is unlawful, foreign-controlled, unconstitutional, and we can
to go.
Yeah, actually, that's one of the things we have here if we have time today. But you can find this out. The Federal Reserve Bank exists in violation of Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution, Article 3, Section 3 of the Constitution, Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution, and Article 6. I mean, basically, there's nothing lawful about the privately owned Federal Reserve Bank controlling the finances of the United States of America. It's unlawful. It's run by Israeli dual citizens, and it's controlled by the Bank for International Settlements in Basel, Switzerland. If you don't know that, do some research. You're not at this level yet. You're not a competent actor. You're just a citizen and a person, and you don't have, you have abdicated all your rights. Whereas these repeated injuries, usurpations, and tyranny carried out by government must not be tolerated by a free sovereign people. It's pretty disgusting that folks put up with this. Yeah. They poison your food. You're like, okay.
They poison the air. They poison the water. They poison the ground.
They murder your fellow Americans on the street, and there's no consequence except for that they get more military equipment and they practice shutting down your city and shut down your cities even more. What happened? They shut down Boston, Massachusetts. They put on lockdown Boston, Massachusetts. And what's the response? Give the police.
Put your hands up and run out of your house while they tell you to get out.
Yeah.
And go, okay, what happened to the Fourth Amendment?
Don't pretend this is not the land of the free.
Or actually the third, for that matter, because they are an occupying army.
It is, of course, an occupying army. We're all quartering soldiers.
They just came out and said that we're in a war zone now.
Obviously, it's a war zone.
But gee, hasn't it been that for a while?
It's got to be a war zone because
it's a war now that some people are shooting back.
Okay. Let's get into something real quick about like a war zone. Okay, so they show on PBS every time. Oh, yeah.
Why don't you finish what?
Yeah, we'll finish this and we'll get into the minutia. Yeah, my apologies. Whereas, man, this is important. This is the most important. Whereas man is the creator of government and therefore has lawful dominion over all institutions and agents of the state. I mean, we'll get in. I want to take this maybe point by point. And then we'll close it out. Be it resolved that the Virginia militia created by our forefathers, mandated by law, is the highest authority, and the government will act in strict subordination to the people. I mean, I don't know how many hundreds of these I've passed out. I mean, we've posted it to thousands.
We'll post it again.
Yeah, we'll post it again.
I'll link to all these.
The call to muster is January 14th, 2015 at the state capitol at high noon. So that's there. If you've pushed forward this agenda, you're the body of the people. We're going to be down there. We're going to have press conferences. We're going to be giving these documents and other documents, as we always do, to our servants and getting it all on video. We're basically documenting this as
to hold them accountable later.
Right.
That's what this is.
Yeah, this is
why I have a camera, to hold them accountable later when they go, no, we didn't do that. Here it is in living color as it happens, unedited.
Right.
It happens. So it's to hold them accountable to the law, which they are not obeying.
But beyond this being an intelligence report, this and everything else that we are involved in, whether it be our appearances on international television, local television, this is radio stations, local, national, international radio stations and shows. Whatever we're putting forward, this is a court of record. This is a public prosecution. We are using this law book and this law book. This law book. And we're making public prosecution against the individuals and the institutions that control the government. We are reaching, we're reaching a lot of folks. They're pretending like they don't see us, but I can see, and I have on good authority that they're getting really upset at what we're doing and what we're saying. The attacks are increasing,
getting more physical.
right? But maybe we can talk about, like, start off by talking about, what happened at this Tea Party event, and then maybe take it point by point and show how the Tea Party are a bunch of, like, traitors and
Sure. I mean, tonight was just about what happened.
Yeah.
Because,
well, I mean, this is
we were hoping that Chris Lane could be with us tonight.
but
because he was there.
Well, he was there, and those folks. We got another one. We got another one up. That's John Rooney of the Tri-Cities Liberty Alliance, and basically, what I want to push forward is this idea that we are in a war zone, and the police. The so-called police is an occupying army, which is unconstitutional, and they do not represent the interest of the people. They represent.
They don't even represent the citizens.
They represent the interest of the corporate structure.
Yeah.
They are nothing but the armed goons of the status quo government, and they're a street gang.
The public militarized thugs.
They are a standing army, militarized thugs.
Yeah, pretty much is.
They're the only times we didn't have this is when the militia was the highest form of law enforcement, and that's because the militia. And I'm talking about any militia because there have been all sorts of different kinds of militia in the history of the United States. But the militia, meaning the locality and the folks that had the keys to the armory. So what we have is we have an occupying force that doesn't represent us, that is saying that officially we're going to go out and say we need these armored vehicles because we need to subdue constitutionalists with guns.
But yet he took an oath to uphold the Constitution, and he's oh yeah, I uphold the Constitution.
Well,
but it's against the constitutionalists.
Right. So
come on.
So I
this is live on TV.
We're referencing the Spokane, Washington MRAP vehicle, which
was misquoted.
Well, they said right.
Yeah, well,
but they're just nothing but liars, and that's the bottom line. Obviously, so when we went in there. We went, and this is a photo right there where Glenn just put up. That's John Rooney, so we asked him, what do you think about the Virginia Constitution and the fact that under the law, the militia and the body of the people should have control of all these MRAPs and all these vehicles, and basically then we further questioned another member of the Tri-Cities Liberty Alliance and says, hey, why don't we get control of these police vehicles, and as a first step to gaining control back of the government, at least get control of the printing presses at the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond. Why wouldn't we get control of those vehicles and say, look, we're the militia now, we've had enough of your crazy Dominion Power, Federal Reserve Bank, Northrop Grumman controlled state government, we have the most powerful vehicles around here, because we've got to watch you guys. We got to watch you guys who fix elections. We got to watch you guys who like the, sex with the underage children. We gotta watch you guys who are stealing the wealth of the people and selling it off to, planet-destroying foreign interests.
Or whatever.
Of course, what is the Federal Reserve Bank but a foreign interest?
Yes.
Controlled by, in Richmond, controlled by Jeffrey Lacker. Right, well...
That's
a right of of money. That's a right of money use to China. I mean, because the Chinese companies are going to,
it all ties in.
It all ties in.
It's all part of that same structure to suck us dry, leave us a husk, and then come in and go, now you citizens will do what we say.
So why are folks going along with this? We made a reference to a war zone, and I've seen statistics saying that more folks have died, been killed by police than in Iraq, than Americans. That is a war zone. That's like, but it's like the same tactics, except for I guess they're fight back in Iraq. It's like because the police in the United States are like the occupying army, kicking doors down and shooting people at the wrong house.
Yeah, and then you go, oops,
sorry. But again, they know enough that when they see us coming with a camera and guns, that they run away from us. So they know enough to do that, but yet they don't know enough not to go in and execute a 9-year-old child.
Yeah.
All right, they know enough here in Richmond to sit there in silence or walk away or look down, but they don't know enough not to shoot a guy who's out on his front porch brushing his freaking teeth. Come on, man, I don't buy it. But one thing I do know is they're an unlawful gang.
Yeah.
One thing I do know is that we, the people, are in control under the law that they swear an oath to uphold, and we create the government. The government doesn't create us and give us our rights. Our rights are given to us by God. Our rights are granted to us by the creator of nature, the creator of the earth and the universe. We are born free. We are born with inalienable rights given to us by God, not granted to us by government, because man creates government. The people create and ordain the government, not the other way around.
Like that says there.
Oh yeah.
Elections will fix a broken government.
Okay, so yeah, there's a video where we're getting out there. Like the one thing they like to do is they like to obfuscate what we're doing. This is what the plan is. Basically, this is what the plan was with the Dorsey for Sheriff campaign. It was just to push the sheriff's department into a militia, to march down to the Federal Reserve Bank and say, look, the people are controlling the printing press now, not Israeli dual citizens like Stanley Fischer, Janet Yellen, and Jeff Lacker.
Didn't we, last year around this time, march in the rain down there?
We did.
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah, I think we
did.
It
was on the anniversary of the Federal Reserve Act.
Yeah.
So yeah, it may have been a lot of some of the folks that
I've got it on my YouTube.
Some of the people that are watching might remember there was a kind of a 100-year anniversary semi-national movement and the Fed type thing, and we went down there and we opposed them face to face. We've made contact with their attorneys. We've said, look, we've got you in definite fraud. You're a criminal operation. How do you respond to that? And they're like, yeah, well, we don't have to respond to you because this is a private bank, and FOIA doesn't apply. Yeah. So they're like, hey, it's a private bank.
Yeah.
And what's that private bank, like a signatory? What does that private bank agree to do? Abide by the Basel III Accord from the Bank for International Settlements in Basel, Switzerland, which controls all the central banks.
I didn't know that they had diplomatic immunity, though. You know what I mean? I mean, they're like, whoa, no. It's like all of a sudden we got, and they're out of.
Well, Alan Greenspan,
and it's like,
Alan Greenspan said live on the NewsHour many years ago. I don't know. It may have even been back in the 90s, but he basically said the Federal Reserve Bank. There's nothing above the Federal Reserve Bank. The Federal Reserve Bank is autonomous and can do whatever it wants to and controls everything. It controls everything.
Goes.
What we say goes, and the bank is in control. These military operations that go, oh, Russia versus USA, Russia versus China. Russia and the USA, they're controlled by the Bank for International Settlements. So is China. Has been for many, many years, for good and all, for good and all time. You know, since there was the Bank for International Settlements, and before that, there were the Rothschild banks, and they just hid the name and called it Bank for International Settlements. But it's the same thing. Schiff, Warburg, Rockefeller, Rothschild, you know, Israel Moses Seif, you know, Kuhn Loeb. There you go. That's what we're talking about. That's what controls everything. It's not these idiots that we talk to like freaking Mayor Dwight Jones or what Congressman Bobby Scott or Eric Cantor or any of these other jokers. You know, they're mid-level, but the bank, the Federal Reserve Bank, that's what calls the shots, and that is completely unlawful. And it's just the mechanism for the beast. It's the international banking cartel, which controls world government. World government is the United Nations. World government is NATO, and world government wants depopulation, population control, you know, to irradiate the atmosphere in certain areas and freaking spray poisons on,
and all that,
you know, all
whatever
this,
else they're putting,
vaccinations, you know,
and viruses and all the other stuff that
forced compliance of eminent domain. I mean, you name it, whatever they want to do, and what they want to do is not what you want. It is not.
No matter how good it sounds.
I mean, unless we're talking to the right people and we're saying, like, I mean, if it's what you want, then we're coming for you.
Yeah.
But if you're just a regular good people, if you are a human being with respect for yourself, your creator, and, you know, a certain level of respect for your fellow human being, you know, just a certain level. Just like where my rights begin, anything else, your rights are infinite, and vice versa. You know, and my rights are, you know, they're very specific, and you know,
they're the same that everyone has.
Yeah, everyone
has the same
can get
rights.
along. But the thing is, you know, being a debt slave to the Federal Reserve Bank, being a wage slave to the IRS, that is not acceptable. And you know, these guys that we're talking about from the
this one.
Yeah, these guys that we're talking about, what do they think? The Tea Party, they go like, oh, Tea Party, that's anti-government. That's like libertarian. So what are these guys saying? Like, all these elected officials, they're bought and paid. Well, not all of them. You know, if all we need to do is take over the Republican Party, all we need to do is win a few elections.
Get the right people in and everything will change.
You know, that's ridiculous.
But then the right people go in and we still have a continuation of the same exact policy ongoing. It doesn't change. Well, it does change. It ges worse and worse.
Right.
We still go, well, if we get the right people in, and if we get the right people, when are the right people going to get in there and fix it?
But
I mean, because has it ever been fixed in your lifetime?
No.
What has it done since you were?
Oh, everything's gotten worse.
It's gotten worse. Yeah, everybody.
Okay, how about we use this as like, you know, back in the day, what was it, 1974? It was like a single income earner was making more money average per family than the two income earners that is necessary, and folks still not making it. So yeah, I mean, if you look at the statistics, what does $20 buy you now compared to what $20 bought you back in 1999, or you know, even back in the year 2000?
You could get like a grocery cart full of stuff back then. Now you get a bag full.
Right.
You know, it's like
you're working harder for less on average. Folks are retiring later. Folks, I mean, if they're retired, who's retired? Who retired? I mean,
yeah, you know, it's like if they can. Because
and to see how folks live when they're like, oh, I can retire, and then you know, folks who had good jobs and who used to have money, all their money's gone. They, you know, through you know, they'll get the worst kind of health care, but it takes all their money. Mm-hmm. You know, there's all these bankruptcies. You know, you could go bankrupt before you even go, you know, make any money by all the student debts, and then what's waiting for you on the other end? You're bankrupt from all these hospital bills.
You're bankrupt when you're born, and you continue to be in debt.
This stuff is all just a big hoax and a scam that's being played on you. Think about this. You have no say in everything that controls your life. And that's the value of the money you work for. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what controls everything you do. You're like, oh, I'd like to smoke some weed, but I gotta pee in a cup. When you gotta fucking do what in a what? Pee in a cup? Wait a second. Isn't there a 4th Amendment to the United States Constitution that might ban somebody from examining the fucking bodily waste of an American? You know, in order to decide whether they can or can't get a job?
But it's for our protection. Just like the TSA groping you at the airport.
Right, you know what?
Protection.
That is some... Okay, so there's pictures. There's photos that are like of uniformed government agents molesting children. Okay, they're molesting children. They are grabbing and groping children, and occasionally it's caught on camera. Or I should say,
not only children. It's anybody.
Oh yeah,
women.
I mean, hey,
they're free. They're equal opportunity employees.
I mean,
any and all.
Trisexuals.
Yeah,
try anything.
Try anything. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that is.
But that fits in with their.
That fits in with the government agents from the police all the way up to the
Royals.
To the Royals, yeah.
Up to the Royals.
So-called Royals, because as we know, these are usurpers, and this is, we can touch on. I do want to touch on the fact that this is part of a grand scheme, and we can trace it back through the bloodlines of the individuals who are the people, the original body of the people, and how they were kind of, factionalizing in Europe when the, Khazar/Jewish bloodline started forcing out or indebting in every way the original royal houses of Europe, which is important, and this goes back a long distance in history, but that's something to look into rather than us getting into the minutia of that right now. But it does tie into who the body of the people is and what the purpose of our sacred and founding documents are, because it's just a verification written that this land will be common law land. This land belongs to the body of the people. The militia is the highest standard. That's why this is militia intelligence report.
Not to be given away to foreign entities and foreign countries.
Right.
Without any due process. Anything. Just gone. And it goes. Who decides all that?
A lot of folks have said that this goes on because there has been claims made and claims to the claims made, and that no one has properly challenged the claims. Mm-hmm. But what we're saying is, our claim is we are the body of the people.
And we're making our claim.
And we're making our claim, and we make a claim that we are man, sovereign, and independent. And a government agent can never do that. A banking institution can never do that. Again, not only are governments instituted by people and ordained by people, but so are banks, and that a institution cannot bond out populations and generations of people and individuals.
And neither can treaties that aren't.
Not
Yeah.
anything that contradicts the United States Constitution is null and void. So yeah, any of these United Nations treaties, when we see, you know, the former head of the so-called Pentagon, the so-called Defense Department of the so-called United States of America, say in a alleged state, all this is a mockery. The Senate's a mockery now because it's been displayed, but when it was displayed in its entirety is when Ben Bernanke says he doesn't have to answer to anyone in Congress when it comes to the finances of the United States. Violation of Article 1, Section 8. And then Leon Panetta, as the head of Defense Department, states to a Senate committee hearing that he answers to the United Nations and he answers to NATO, and he may tell the United States Congress what those foreign entities, those international one world government entities, have decided to do with the United States Army. For whatever those words together mean. Because again, if you're in the United... They're mercenary. If one is in the United States military, one is a mercenary for the international bankers. That's it. You're not a United States of America. That's the American Army. No, that's the occupying force. I see a lot of memes about there's 80 countries and 700 military bases. Shit, how many military bases do we have just around this one metro area of Richmond, Virginia?
Yeah,
like
all of them.
Dozens?
At least.
I mean,
that's the ones that are visible.
That's the ones that are yeah, the ones that are okay. So why are we freaking occupied by this foreign government? Because it's obvious.
Okay, well, not only that, how many precincts are there in police stations?
Oh, of course.
So there you go. We're more occupied.
This is such an occupied, this is such like an occupied state. It's the most imprisoned population in the history of the planet. Yeah. There has never been a more enslaved and imprisoned population than the United States of America at this time.
And it's going to get worse.
No, I don't think so. I think it's going to get better. Well, it's not going to get worse for me. The body of the people need to stand up, because this is what we need to make very clear. We need to make very clear, and this is not a joke. I know the only thing our opposition can do is send out snarky fucking high school teenage type acting adults and say, oh, this is a big joke. We need to do something about this. I mean, if you like going along with this society, this morally contemptible society that's destroying the planet and enslaving its, inhabitants, if you like this, man, fuck you. Eat shit. I hope you drop off the face of the fucking planet. If not, we need to go and get, I heard somebody repeat it on Pastor Rob Scarborough shows on 1450, where she called in, they were talking about how, the government sucks and it's corrupt, and, going from the Federal Reserve Bank Act of 1913 all the way down to the fucking shit-ass Richmond City School Board, so this,
started on that.
So a regular caller called in and she said, I think we need to go with Chris Dorsey's idea. I think we need pitchforks and torches. So, on January 14th, 2015, That's the first day of the General Assembly. We'll be out there with our podium, our loudspeaker, our cameras, and our guns. And if you want to bring your guns, please. It's your right. The militia is mustering. Everywhere we are, the militia is mustering. You know, if you're a part of the body of the people and you have your rights come from God, you're part of the unorganized militia. You're a part of the body of the people. You are a people, if that is the case. If you comprehend your rights given to you by God, then you're one of the people, and you're already a part of the militia, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, if you comprehend your rights, you're a part of the militia, whether you like it or not. Come out with your pitchforks. Hey, I got a camera, pitchfork, torches. Come out with your loudspeakers, flashlights,
whatever,
disco balls, your freaking crazy costumes, your pizza, make it a band, banjo, unicycle, whatever kind of thing that goes. But these guys got to get confronted. If we want to make this place is a circus. Terry McAuliffe, the jester, the one-eyed Jack jester, the fool, the trickster, Terry McAuliffe, the drunk trickster, stated he doesn't want the General Assembly to be a circus. Really? Don't go on television drunk as shit, acting a fool, Terry, if you don't want to turn something into a circus. Quit trading secrets to the Chinese and giving them, what's he giving them now? Water rights, of course. Oh, but a water park. That's kind of like a circus.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, what kind of circus are you running, Terry, you degenerate? We'll give you a copy of this too, buddy. And another thing with Teflon Terry, the Clinton drunk stooge, the freaking horse-faced man. Like, here's the thing with you fucking asshole, Terry. Speaking of circuses and Terry, I met Terry, and I know associates of Terry in this town, and I met goofy, Yankee, carpet-bagging, shitbird Terry McAuliffe at the Camel. The freaking Camel. You know the Camel.
I've heard it, yeah.
Okay. He was running unsuccessfully against Cree Deeds, the Washington General of Virginia politics. If you know what I mean, if you're familiar with the Harlem Globetrotter Washington General scam. The Malky brothers of Virginia politics, for those who like maybe a little closer analogy of professional wrestling.
No, we don't want to go into now.
Well, it is. It's all fake, and it's fixed.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why the analogy is apt. So Terry McAuliffe was making a public appearance when he lost the Democratic primary with Will.I.am.
Yeah, okay, I remember, yeah.
And this was bringing out folks, and Terry, when asked questions about his criminal activity in the Clinton administration and torture and 9/11, he's like, well, torture's over. No, it's not. You gotta be kidding. You're an idiot if you think the CIA wasn't torturing before September 11, 2001, and up to right this second, they're torturing somebody right now. Lots of people. Guantanamo's still open. There's still, secret bases all over the world where they're rendering and extraordinary rendering and all this other, bullshit. And he says, well, now's not the time or place to talk. I guess because the fucking, prestigious Will.I.am is standing there. I mean, the guy didn't even fucking play any music. He just fucking stood there shaking hands with Terry McAuliffe. And there was a fucking line to fucking shake Will.I.am's hand. Who the fuck is that guy? I mean, his music fucking sucks. And he didn't even play any of it. But again, this more Illuminati fucking bullshit, more Zionist Jew Hollywood bullshit, and Terry McAuliffe is just, I can't talk now, but let's get coffee. I was like, man, don't bullshit me. He's like, oh, no, it's not bullshit, it's not like that, call my office and we'll set up a time. I followed up, obviously, it was fucking bullshit. So anyways, Terry, like with all others, the other thing, Northrop Grumman, it controls the Virginia government. The entire IT infrastructure of the Virginia Commonwealth government is controlled by Northrop Grumman, the charter member of the nuclear industrial complex. Military industrial complex, A and B is probably Boeing and Northrop. You know, Lockheed, Boeing, Lockheed, Northrop. There's others. There's others, but I mean, they're all connected at the top. Yeah. But again, that's the specific institution that runs the Virginia government. And I've asked pretty much every Virginia government official one can think of that it has any clout about Northrop Grumman, and none of them have said a freaking word. Creed's got shit. He's like, I don't think Northrop Grumman is the military-industrial complex. Really? What the fuck? Then those words don't mean anything. Who defined that word? Yeah. Eisenhower. You think he'd know about the military-industrial complex? No. It was created during his...
Well, what did he know?
Yeah. Not him.
He'd be the last one to find out.
Hey,
Obama, he's always the last one to find out about shit.
How about, we'll see if folks... Do you think, let's see if there's anybody, listening out there, do you think that Northrop Grumman is part of the military-industrial complex? Do you think it's a good idea that Northrop Grumman controls every state agency of the Virginia government, and that they get the biggest contract ever given away in the history of the Commonwealth of Virginia? Where does it go? To Northrop Grumman, who makes nuclear bombs and also controls the DMV and the fucking state police and whatever. Yeah. Department of Game and Inland Fishery, that shit too.
Department of the Interior.
Right, all of it. Agriculture, all of it. General Assembly. I mean, it's control, it's the most money. And what do? They go, well, it's not the state, it's the VITA. That's a public-private partner, blah, 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 blah. Northrop Grumman gets the money. They are the ones in control. They have the gigantic facility in Chesterfield County. That's not even counting the gigantic facility that they have in the Norfolk Naval Yard. I mean, basically, they suck off of the American taxpayer. That's how they get their energy. What good purpose do they serve? None. We need to get control of Northrop Grumman. The militia needs to be in control of the IT infrastructure for the state Commonwealth of Virginia, instead of the private institutions, the international private institutions run by Jews. Well, I guess at this point, Grumman is run by a guy with the last name of Bush. But, the Bushes, they're Jews as well. But these deals were worked out under Ronald Sugar, who was then CEO of Northrop Grumman. And anyway, we know who's got the interballistic missiles, but who puts in the programming? Who makes the missiles? Northrop Grumman, amongst others. But again, it's that element of control. You out there, and I'm not talking to the body of the people, I'm talking to the citizens. I'm addressing the citizens now. I'm addressing those who are not on the same level as me, those who have abdicated their rights. I'm saying to you, it is insane for you to have an institution that has shown that they will kill Americans on the street, leave them for dead, and by the thousands, and not care. And I'm talking about the police force. I'm talking about the occupation army that is the military arm, the domestic military arm of the Federal Reserve Bank and the corporate status quo structure. I'm talking about the militarized occupation, local, state, and federal police. That's what I'm talking about. They'll kill you on the street. And who do they work for? They work for the ones who and the police now have armed drones. They're working for the folks with the Hellfire missiles and the nuclear bombs and the hydrogen bombs. That's who they work for. They're just the foot soldiers for them. But the other folks, the bankers and their minions, the Zionist bankers and their minions, like Jack Weinstein, the brigadier general that controls the ICBMs for the United States government right now. Usurpation. Our government is null and void. All these folks need to be arrested. They need to be arrested. These dual citizens,
put in jail.
Like Jack Weinstein, who has his finger literally on the button, they need to be arrested. Jeff Flacker, Janet Yellen, Stanley Fisher, we need to arrest these folks. This is not working. If you're part of the police force and you're not a complete degenerate, that would be a rarity. But
arrest them.
Arrest them. Arrest them.
Prove
this
you're
is
good
it.
cops.
Right. Because the thing is, what do we have? We have no control. We have very limited control over, you and I, we're waiting on a check to go to the grocery store to get food after our food runs out.
Yeah.
So why do we give a shit what the fuck goes on in Russia? Especially when it seems like that the institutions that are controlling the United States government are the ones that are instigating all the problems. But I will say that the Russian government, they're just playing their role because they get money from the same spots too.
It's the same. It's the same thing. They're playing both sides. But you look at Russia, that's coming here as well.
Oh, Russia!
Because they're doing the same thing.
Why is Russia training with special forces? Here's another one for you. Why has the Soviet cosmonaut program and the militarized NASA program been joined at the hip since almost the inception? I mean, why do we have joint space missions? Why are we bringing Russian soldiers over to forts in Colorado to help them train with secret weapons?
Yeah.
What are they? We don't know about it, and that's allegedly our army, and they're giving it to the Russian army?
Well,
and then we're supposed to believe, oh, World War III is on the way. Time to scramble this way and that because we have, the rich people that run the United States allegedly have a problem with the rich people that run Russia. Oh, the poor people of both countries, they really need to hate each other and we need to fight, even though we've never set eyes on.
Exactly.
Except that there's a lot of Russians in this country. You know what? They'll put Russians as quasi-Mexicans in certain areas in the beach because they'll work for cheap. And they don't want Mexicans to be working in certain areas because it's not as good for tourism.
It's all the same divide and conquer.
It's all the same divide and conquer. It's I got inside intel on prostitution stings in Virginia Beach where basically they bring Russian prostitutes over. The Jewish Russian mob. The Russian mob is not the Russian mob. The Bulgarian mob is not the Bulgarian mob. They're the Jewish mob. And what's the top Jewish mob? The United States military, the owners of the Bank for International Settlements, the freaking DimeCorp, right?
All the Halbert.
Who's this working out for? And if we want to talk about real adversaries, let's talk. The top rich of every country, they're in on it. They're all in on it together. And if we do want to talk about insane rogue nation states, I'm not going to talk about North Korea and that bullshit that's been created by Hollywood against a Japanese company. Again, everything that gets attacked and shit on and fucking nuked and fucking Stuxnox with the fucking Israeli fucking U.S. 1-2 punch with Fukushima and Nagasaki because it's always the Jews inventing the nuclear submarines, inventing the nuclear weapons. It's their fucking psyche and...
We'll blame it on Godzilla.
Well, I do want to be exact because, Oppenheimer, You know, and then I forget the guy's name, but the guy who invented the nuclear sub for the United States Navy, he was Jewish as well.
Yeah.
Rick Croft or Rick something.
Yeah.
Something like that. Anyways, maybe if somebody can look that one up, if anybody's watching, this is what's fact. This is what happens. This is, Japan gets attacked. Japan gets attacked when this hack. It's a Japanese company. It's an event again. That's a regional conflict between Japan and North Korea, and it's manipulating sides, and it doesn't really make any sense. But there is a rogue nuclear state that we really should be concerned about, and they do a lot. They have a lot more to back up their rhetoric. They have North Korea. They don't have any Dolphin class nuclear submarines, but Israel does. North Korea, they don't have their nuclear they don't have their nuclear weapons pointed at all at the capital of the United States, and according to Israeli government officials, all of the capitals of Europe and the world capitals, Israel does.
Yeah.
There's something called the Samson option, and so that's something to look up for those, because we do it seems like we're speaking in parables, or we're speaking in contradiction sometimes when we say it's not nation states, but it is nation states.
It's hard to explain.
But I want to explain because this is the key, because when you get to the very top, what do you have? You have a certain bloodline, like the Rothschild bloodline of bankers. You have the Talmudist so-called Jews. You have the Sabbatean Frankists, and that stems from Sabbatai Zevi and Jacob Frank, and maybe we'll put up some stuff from about Jacob Frank and the Frankists, because Frank believed he was a descendant, the reincarnation of a Jewish Messiah, or an alleged to be Jewish Messiah, called Sabbatai Zevi. And these Rothschild bankers who follow Talmud, they believe that they are the descendants of the Sabbatean Frankist line, and that therefore they are the gods on the planet, and they rule through the Talmud, which states that all Gentiles should be killed, and they're only good for one purpose. Just read, do a Google search for Talmud on Christians, Talmud on Gentiles, Talmud ritual murder, Talmud sex with children, Talmud all this. They are Talmudists. That's the way they operate and function. And these mind control techniques that they use, like the Monarch mind control, the MK Ultra, Operation Artichoke, Operation Bluebird, etc., etc. They're ancient. It goes back to the Egyptian Book of the Dead. So this stuff has been going on for
centuries.
They comprehended mind control from the beginning. It's a very simple concept. Inducing trauma, it will affect the mind. It will traumatize the mind and the body. And that folks can be manipulated in a very skillful and particular manner, through any number of different techniques of manipulation. So that's what's at the top of all this. You know, it's been going on for centuries. There's been a struggle for centuries. This is a struggle. This is a faction. You know, I mean, there are some folks that think elections solve, you know, problems. There are some folks that think, you know, they wouldn't even know what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, they think that, you know, watching Dancing with the Stars and you know, and fucking buying food at Walmart, you know, is the fucking right way to live, and like everything's fucking cool, and all I have to do is just like, I don't know, be a big stupid fucking
everything's happy,
pile of shit.
Everything's good.
Yeah, I mean,
be part of the team, and we get along, and everything's great.
But they always realize later rather than sooner, but they never get it when they lose their fucking house. They fucking, you know, lose their fucking leg. You know, because they fucking been eating, fucking drinking fucking Diet Coke. You know, their car's gone. They can't afford to replace it. They can't afford to put gas in the car. They can't afford even to fucking eat at Walmart anymore.
Yeah.
They'll eventually get it. When the fucking boot kicks them in the ass, they'll get it. When they are, I mean, they're at least they don't need them around. They need them as a shield at this point.
Well, yeah.
After that,
they're cannon fodder.
They're cannon fodder. You know, they're to be sucked from. They're also to be bonded out as like they're worth something when they're worthless. You know, because like honestly, what I see of the bonds that all these folks create out of nothing, and I compare it to what the income that I have. I'm telling it, folks, the bond's not worth it. I see the folks who get paid the big money. They are despicable. The more money one has, the more of an enemy of the people they are. See, that's it. See, this is why, you know, maybe we can segue back into like the left versus right, and how there's resistance movements, and like how basically we out conservative the conservatives and we out liberal the liberals. Because like basically what I'm saying when I say that, we say, okay, let's divide. Let's not divide under black and white or Christian and Jew or this a thing or that thing or Coke versus Pepsi. Let's divide rich versus poor, because basically that's what decides everything. Like, man, if you're fucking rich, at the end of the day you go, yeah, fuck Obama. Oh, Obamacare sucks, but like, all right, now I feel better. Let me fucking get back in my Beamer, and I'll fucking go back into my gated neighborhood and sit by the fire and fucking chill out and watch whatever I want. You know, that's what you guys do, because it doesn't mean anything. It's all just a bunch of bullshit to you. You go to a fucking Tea Party meeting, you spout off about the Constitution, and then when you're presented with the fucking Constitution, you act like you've never fucking, you know, seen the document in your life.
Maybe you haven't.
I know they have. I know they've seen it. I mean, because they got to give lip service to it. Like, you know, they got to like at least have seen the document. So we go to the Tea Party meeting, and that's what this is. You know, we read from this document. This is taken mostly from the United States and Virginia Constitution. So we go to the Tea Party and we say, oh, it's militia time, and like, you know, it's the people, it's the Constitution, and, you know, foreign control, the banking system, and America first. And they go, no, we just need some like election shit, and like, yeah, your heart's in the right place, but I'm like, my heart? This is not my heart. This is the fucking law. You know, this is, you know, my heart is here inside my body. You know, so my heart is not any place here, there, or anywhere. So I'm not going to play these word tricks, but I'm talking about the law. So this is the law. It's not my heart. The law. My heart, it beats. I'm a man. I'm one of the people. The law is written down statutory code. The law is the written law. The man creates the written law. The man lives under natural law. Natural law. Farmer's Almanac, Jay Gruber's Farmer's Almanac, Hagerstown Almanac, 2015. That measures like the sun, the moon, the cycles of the year, speculation on conjecture on the weather, and that's natural law. Like, what happens? When the winter comes, the leaves fall off the tree. That's the law. This is the written law made by the people for government officials. Because this isn't our law. We're above this law. This is the law for our servants. This is the law that we give our employees.
Employees, yes.
This is that they're, and it's not really a ploy. So it's more like there are servants. I think that's the more apt term. And it's the word servant is written in the law too.
Well, that's what the law says. That's what they are. They are servants.
Yeah. Trustees and servants. Yeah. So what we're saying now is it's time to have an orderly, reconstitution of the law. We need to reconstruct and repair the law, and that this is what the law demands, anyway, that it's only logical. Why give away like the right to kill you to folks who have written out plans on how to do that and are doing it right in front of your face? Okay. And again, when we talk about the Tea Party, we don't want to be forgetting about the left-wingers who are taking this idea of we are at war, it is a war zone, and then mass surrendering to the agents who are carrying out the war. So, by saying hands up, don't shoot, right?
We surrender, get on
right.
our knees, now we're going to die.
And so this is another thing I'd like to get into, and is that we're confronting all of these people. We've documented them. We go to the lawyers and legal counsel of the Federal Reserve Bank in Richmond. That's the top of the top that I know of. I don't know anybody else in this town that is above the Federal Reserve Bank. I don't know any institution or entity. If there is one, they need to be dragged out. The leader of that institution needs to be dragged out on the street instantly and shot in the head. But the Federal Reserve Bank is the tops, and we've contacted them. We go to the police and we say, look, we're presenting you with this. We got you violating the law. What are you going to do about it? Like, contact the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office. Like, look, we got all this fraud and crime on camera. You can't deny it. It's irrefutable. You can't make any excuses up to say anything other than exactly what happened.
And yet they do.
And they don't do a thing. They just remain silent. I mean, they use it. I mean, how many times have we seen, like, I'll walk up on that shitbird that they call, that some folks call sheriff, like fucking Sheriff Buford P. Justice, Sheriff Uncle Ruckus, Sheriff Retarded Uncle Ruckus, fucking Captain Torture, Captain Retarded Torture, no offense to those with developmental disorders.
None taken.
Yeah, well, amen, none taken from me. But this fucking dipshit idiot, C.T. Woody, I'm like, hey, C.T., what do you think about this fucking proof of, violations of the law? I'm showing to you right now. I'll address that at a later date. So you're invoking your, Fifth Amendment rights to remain silent. Yes, I am. So you operate under the Constitution, there, but certainly not in this instance where
when it suits them, yeah. They're all for
what's he saying? Oh yeah, that's right. You're right. I'll do it now, but I won't do it then. And this guy, you got this guy later on saying I've been in the drug unit of the police squad. I've been in the murder part of the police squad. Yeah, because he's a fucking murderer and he's a drug dealer. Just look up heroin dealing in the Richmond City Jail. Like, I mean, how many sheriff's deputies have got caught? Like getting heroin into that jail. There's heroin in there now. You can't even keep heroin out of the jail. So why are you putting people in there for heroin? Some guy died in the jail he was in for heroin possession, and the same week a sheriff's deputy was caught smuggling heroin into the jail. They can't even keep the heroin out. How can you put somebody in jail for having heroin? And the CIA is exporting the heroin from Afghanistan
and all that other
into the military bases, and okay. So anyways.
Well, and then you heard about the cop that got caught with like 5 pounds of marijuana, and they go, oh, he's not going to be charged with anything. It's okay. Just take the marijuana from him. It's like,
okay.
Can I? Yeah.
I do want to
Can you or I have 5 pounds of marijuana and go, don't worry about it?
Man, I wish I could fucking afford 5 pounds of marijuana. I mean, of course, I always just consume the cannabis. Which segues into another subject. There's a Virginia Normal Lobby Day, and there's a Facebook page for that. And the Facebook page is super suspicious. I don't know any of these fucking people on this Facebook page until I see Nathan Cox, who makes a post. I need to talk to the organizer of the event. So I noticed that, and so I was like, I'm going to post on this page, and I'm going to post a couple things. One of the things I've done more than once is consume cannabis at the state capitol during a conspicuous time or something. The last time I did it, it was in front of a news camera and Glenn's camera, and I was holding these 2 documents and puffing on a joint, and there were a crowd of people and news cameras, and the news camera, we got on camera that the news camera did not want to film while I was consuming cannabis at a cannabis rally at the state capitol, and then I told the cameraman that I'll fucking track down a cop, find a Richmond cop, find a state capitol police cop, find a state trooper, and I will blow this marijuana smoke.
Find the one that was on the bicycle.
That are running away, and I will blow the cannabis smoke in their face. Not in an insulting way, but just to make sure that it seemed like, look, they know exactly what I'm doing, but they don't want to get caught on camera, like having us smoke. I mean, so they'll run away, So it's like, oh, they know exactly what we're doing. We've been doing it for years. We've been smoking cannabis, at the state capitol for years. So the Virginia Normal page, which has got the same old, sketchy hacks, sketchy TV protest hacks, is
cell leaders.
Cell leaders. Thank you, Glenn.
Yeah, cell leaders.
Cell leaders. Yeah, we got splinter cells and factions and cells. Cell leaders. But these are like government agents. Yeah, these guys are like real sketchballs. You can't trust them. Like real untrustworthy. Real fucking untrustworthy. And I've got the video proof, as always. So another thing that's untrustworthy about that is I'm posting pictures of me smoking cannabis at the federal courthouse, me smoking cannabis at the state capitol, and it's being removed off of this page.
Yeah. Pulled off of it.
Removed.
And removed.
Deleted.
Yeah.
Deleted. Why? So, Virginia Normal. Why are you deleting video of a political actor, a individual, one of the leaders of the Virginia militia,
an activist,
a well-known public figure? Why remove This individual explaining how cannabis is lawful for all and that we don't need the government's permission to do it, and I prove it
because
by...
you're showing them in a bad light.
I'm not showing anybody in any light. I'm saying this is what I'm doing. Right. Oh, I know. But
yeah, it's because they didn't approve of it. I mean,
right, but that makes me suspicious because if somebody had come to me like 6 or 7 years ago and come up with that plan before we started doing it, I would say like, actually, yeah, they did. You know, I mean, they've been doing it since the Coptic Church. You know, and even before then. You know, but you know, this is not my original idea, but like, I'm the only one that's been doing it around here, and like, it is. And beyond that, it's not just cannabis, because this is another thing they're going to do. They're going to go, oh, well, let's just give them the weed. And then they'll shut up, because they will. They will. You will. You fucking pieces of shit will.
Okay. We'll give them the weed, but they have to give up their gun rights.
That's hey, did you see that? Did you hear that one? And this is another thing that piece of shit Terry McAuliffe is doing. He's saying, "Hey, if you don't pay your child support, we can take your guns away." What? So like,
or if you want your marijuana, you got to give up your gun rights. It's like,
no.
You know what?
Oh, this is another thing I want to show and display that they're removing off of the thing. Not only am I consuming cannabis, lawfully consuming cannabis, I'm also lawfully armed. So if they think they want to attempt that stuff where, you know, they say we we can't, you know, consume cannabis and have a gun. Man, you guys are crazy. We can do all that and much more, you fucking assholes. Like, you guys lost your fucking ever-loving minds. You really have. You really don't know. You are absolute, you know, pea-brained, you know, Neanderthal morons. If you think that any of this shit that you're attempting to push through has any effect on us, you know what? That's the thing. You can tell these folks, they want to hamstring and control because they don't want the people to see they're free. The Tea Party, they don't want the people to see they're free. They want their intermediaries.
They want ass kissers. That's all they want.
Okay, so let's get into something that all public office is ecclesiastical. All offices are ecclesiastical. Like, counselor, prime minister, they're ecclesiastical offices. And like the court, that's the government system of, the judiciary. Mm-hmm. And that is just, that's a temple. That's a temple, and it has a high priest, which they call the judge.
Correct.
Or Your Honor. Okay. So what we're getting at here is that these folks, they think that they're like, the College of Cardinals, and then like the Pope is at the top. That they have all these, like, we have to go through these folks to get directly what we want. Like we have to ask these folks permission for everything, and that anything to do with the government is like the divine, like it's divinely inspired or divinely touched. And that in order for us to do anything, we have to go through the government. Thank you, Glenn, for tying that up.
The priests of the temple law to get anything done.
That we have to ask permission.
And they don't even obey their own damn holy word, so
right.
Bow down to that. Why? It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
And you go, oh, yeah, they have the weapons to enforce it, and they got you brainwashed into thinking, well, what was it Eric Holder said? You had to brainwash the people into thinking differently about guns and do it every day.
Right.
So that it gets brainwashed, so that you get accustomed to hearing something, and the bigger the lie, the more they push it. And you eat it like sugar-coated saccharin, I guess, or whatever. It's just you just devour it and spit it back out, and it's ridiculous.
Well, I can't agree more, because that's the only reason that that I'm free is because
I don't need anybody to tell me I'm free. I'm free.
I'm free.
You don't need people to tell you.
What enforces my freedom, though, is my brain, number one, and my brain that tells me that what the law says, and that though my forefathers, my creators, and the creator of my creator, and the creator of all too, they said, look, in order to have a free state, you got to have a militia, you got to have a body of the people, armed,
willing to stand up,
and that are good for something rather than good for fucking nothing.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you good for, folks? What are you good for? Going and fucking, I'm a teacher in a school. Oh, great. Great, brainwashing the kids. I'm a guard at the fucking jail. Great. I'm a tax collector for the city of Richmond. All right. Great job. It's what the fuck good are you, think about what good you do. I'm free. How many times have we gone out and told these folks? How many times have we said, God bless it, put your fucking hands down and quit surrendering. Look at where you are. You're surrounded by the damn police.
You're surrounded.
And you're surrendering. Just like the guy who got shot on all the other folks who got shot on the street. So,
no matter if they were armed or not, hands up or not. A little kid had the fucking weapon in his thing. Pull up, bang, 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 he's dead. You should have listened. Didn't say anything. He pulled up and shot him. They were in fear for their life. From a 12-year-old child with a BB gun, they were afraid of their lives. That's ridiculous. And then you're supposed to listen to everything they tell you, do whatever they tell you, and you won't get hurt.
All right.
Come on.
Everything on there is bullshit. Yeah. How many times have we seen this just through what we, what we have on videotape that we experienced firsthand and videotape
live
from multiple different angles, live in person, analyzed all this, and the media reports something completely contradictory to that.
Talk about parallel universes.
Right. So when I hear about some fucking one dude fucking holding however many fucking hostages in a fucking cafe in Australia, I'm like, wow, this one should be a fucking doozy. This should be a fucking good one. And it was. Look into the Sydney false flag. It's all bullshit, just like all the other fucking bullshit. And let's get into a little bit of these fucking let's say bring up Ice-T and body count. And go with the theme because they played the most recent and what do they call that thing with the barbecue.
Oh, barbecue, yeah.
That's right. They played their big hit with Ice-T called, what was it? Cop Killer.
Yep.
Okay, I remember that from high school. Mm-hmm. Cop Killer was a fucking issue in the election. Fucking Dan Quayle was like, that fucking, traitorous fucking waste of oxygen whose head needs to be on a fucking pike. That piece of shit brought up that fucking Cop Killer, God bless it, bullshit. So these other cops, and when I say other, what did they kept saying about, oh, who's killing everybody? Oh, it's black teenagers and white cops. That's the formula. So the NYPD cops that get killed, they are other. Asian and Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican, I think.
Yeah, it looked like
something
New York-Rican.
Yeah.
New York-Rican or something. Yeah, that's what the word on the street was from the local crackheads. I remember one time.
Oh he was the killer was also supposed to be part of ISIS.
Oh right, it was a fucking ISIS cop killer. Yes, that's a good one.
Well, they got to start tying it in.
Oh my.
And he probably followed the Constitution too. I mean, come on.
A constitutionalist, ISIS cop killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Killing. Hey, wait a second. Maybe he was like, was he Chechen? Was he like part Arab? Maybe he was Iranian Sheikh ISIS? But then you go like, wait a second, my fucking head hurts because like ISIS is Sunni. But wait a second, ISIS is the Israeli Secret Intelligence Service, and ISIS is a fucking military private corporation on Pennsylvania Avenue, in the Reagan Building. ISIS is ISIL. ISIS is the Islamic State. Man, if you look, if you believe any of this shit, like if you see anyone from CNN on the street, you're full of shit. If you see anybody from the Times-Dispatch on the street, put a camera in their face and go, you're a fucking liar. You lie for a living. You write articles about fairy tales that are provable lies. And if you're a fucking anchor on the fucking news or a reporter on the news and you're like, the latest beheading that happened in front of a green screen by Islamic terrorists, that's a British rapper doing it, called MC Jin? This shit.
He would, in that case, couldn't go be a...
Oh, yeah. When he's, that shit, they got, ridiculous things that they got going, these ridiculous little things. Everyone's, the big thing now is down with white supremacism. That's the fucking big thing now. It's oh, what's the problem with everything? White people. What's the problem with everything? Oh, white privilege.
Can I have some?
Let me have some of my fucking white privilege,
some of it, please?
And we go through this every time. It's okay, let's get fucking specific because I'm pretty tan, and let's get real fucking specific. Let's get real specific because at least my Y chromosome is of the R-L21 haplogroup. So if you want to break it down, don't associate. And don't even associate me with anything that says cop because they keep saying white cop. I'd rather be called, black than a cop. Not that there's anything wrong with being called either, or there's nothing really accurate about being called either. But again, I associate more with so-called non-white people and with so-called black people on many more issues than I would logically with the so-called white people who are running the show, which in most cases are just degenerate traitors to their own, ethnic bloodlines, or the fucking so-called Jews themselves, the Khazars, the Sephardim, etc. The ancient fucked up bloodline, the ancient really fucked up folks that are enslaving the planet at this point. And we got a few more things that in the folks are posting some stuff. Let's see.
What page are you on? I haven't seen any on any of the pages.
Let's see. Awesome, y'all supporting private money in government. Show blacked out, says Joseph Bowman. Wow.
It still says it's streaming, so I don't know.
Okay, well, we have Joseph Bowman stating show blacked out. Chris Lane saying thanks for the hard work, and we all have to work together to eliminate the private money from government. Well, yeah, I think that's basically what we've been saying. That is the government. If you take away the so-called private money, you take away the government. But if you really dissect that quotation, I like to quote a former Fed government governor who says all money is debt. It's formed as debt. It says it on the bill. It says this is legal tender for all debts, public and private. So it tells you what it is. Money is not money, it's debt, and money is the mono I. It's also a play on the word moon, the first. It's the god, and it's also the mono I, the third eye of enlightenment. That's what we get to get all the things that we could get just through spirit, just through enlightenment, just through the Christ, or the knowledge, and instead we are fighting over these ever decreasing in value pieces of paper,
little trinkets and little
piece of paper with freaking Egyptian symbolism, Illuminati, Masonic symbolism on it.
It says this is your god.
I mean, and they do serve it. I mean, you definitely, because even in the church, they take the money. That's what they want the most. They don't have to pay taxes on it, so it's a good thing. And who is own a lot of property around here? The churches. Who are some of the richest folks around here? Who's the fucking mayor in this fucking town? That demon Satan church, like 2nd Street Baptist Church or Westboro Baptist Church, that demon Dwight Jones operates out of. But again, we put forward that stuff. We started discussing the what was the local Interfaith Alliance?
The Interfaith Alliance.
And so we started discussing the Richmond Interfaith Alliance, and they're like feds.
Clergy responsible.
They work with the local media. They have these local town halls, what they call charrettes, which are actually just charades. And a lot of them, they're rich, but they call them charrettes. We'll have a charrette with the neighborhood, and Bon Secours hospital system, and the Washington Redskins will hold a charrette, and the city of Richmond government, and the DPU will be there, and blah, blah. But it's all just a bunch of bullshit. Just so you comprehend, it's all bullshit. From the Chamber of Commerce in fucking Washington County, Hagerstown, Maryland. I'm coming for you fucking assholes. Like, you guys thought you could get away with that fucking shit? To the guys in the city of Richmond, to fucking Jeff Lacker at the Federal Reserve Bank. I mean, I don't know what else we have to say to folks. It looks like we had a number of people clicking that they like, that they're listening, or that they're saying thank you. Always thanks to all the listeners,
all the supporters,
and all the supporters.
Everybody that supports us.
And we know that you're watching. We know that you have seen these documents because one of the guys, the second guy at the Tea Party, Joshua Miller. I know that he's seen some of the document that I fucking handed him right there, that joker, because he's removed it off of a page that he's part an admin on. So you jokes,
and
you
they read it while you hand it to them, and they read it, so they see it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Delegate Lee Ware, while this joker who's the head of the Richmond Tea Party is trying to block me from filming Lee Ware, who's reading the document that we read earlier, this document, that's handed to him.
Later. Give me a copy.
Well, I gotta make more copies because this is the last one.
I understand, but
we'll make copies of it. I mean, because we got to for tomorrow, anyways. I gotta make more copies for tomorrow because we'll be out at the Amnesty rally. And maybe we can do a lead-in to that. And I'd just like to say about the Amnesty rally is these folks just don't really get it. They're there. When the government, when it was illegal for the so-called illegals to be here, the government was shipping them in. When it's legal, the government's going to ship them in. They're going to be here. As long as the status quo system is there, there will be a need for folks who can't even fucking speak English to take our jobs. As long as
it's to bankrupt us and to drive us down. More people on welfare.
Oh, well,
more people to vote the way they want to
Right.
vote. They want them to vote. And it's another occupying.
it's another occupying army, and also it's just basic fucking like supply and demand economics.
Yeah.
If the labor pool is gigantic, the wages are going to be low, artificially low. And it doesn't matter what a minimum wage is. It only matters what the real and not manipulated market bears. And when you manipulate every market with a foreign bank that wants to destroy everything about the Constitution and everything about the American people and what America stands for, then that's what you're going to fucking get.
Well, it's not only just America. They just want humans gone. I mean, it's everybody.
But America stands against that.
Well, yes,
I do get a lot of correspondence from folks in other countries, and they tell me America is the only hope. The armed American people are the only
and not
hope.
America with a K. America with a K ain't it.
Well, you know what? We can talk about the Sea of Souls, the Ka, which is it's not Amerigo Vespucci. America stands for the Sea of Souls. America, the soul. So this is the soul. This is the soul that will never be killed. This is the free body of the people that will never, never, never submit to tyranny. Sic semper tyrannis. That is what we say. We don't care how much you dig our forefathers through the mud. We will not back away from that statement. You fucking tyrants, you're going to fucking get it. And we'll use the fucking law. And our law, we created it. We're above you fuckers. We're above you shitbirds. And we're gonna show you that. We're gonna show you that soon. And if we're the only ones that do it, that's fine. That makes the American, body of the populace. I mean, it's real pathetic. I mean, we really do. I just want to close out by maybe posting something, up on the page. And maybe if I can
Well, go ahead.
find something to basically there's a property, there's a farm in Hagerstown. It belonged to a family member, and
it was up on him.
And if we can get that up on the screen.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Basically, the gist of the matter is
right there.
I've got it up right now. Okay, yeah. So here it is. Fraud: dead man sells gypsy farm for $0 in Hagerstown, and this kind of a deal was brokered by a head of Chamber of Commerce, vice president of Merrill Lynch, chair of the Economic Development Commission for Washington County, and her family member, hers, is the county attorney, and she sits on, and this property is mostly easement. She sets the protocol for the easement of the farm property in Washington County, and it's a National Historic Landmark. She's also on county commission deciding protocol for historic farm landmarks and stuff like that. So basically, what we're showing here is that this property was sold multiple times for $0, and this woman Suzanne Downey Hayes was doing it. It was sold to a gypsy, a teenage gypsy, and it was sold for $0, and it was sold after the listed seller's name was dead 2 years afterwards. And that's just the tip of the iceberg where this begins. And if you click on that, you'll see right now it has, well, that's weird because it just had 136 views, but now it says it has 134 views. But anyways, there are a number of folks that have seen this. I shared it, and I got a message from an administrator on a page that's called Maryland, what is it called? Farmers Exchange. And the first message I got was 23 hours ago, and it said, and it's from a woman named Erin Mosher Mark, "What's up with the post?" And I respond, "Greetings, Erin. I am not sure specifically what you are inquiring." And then 11 hours later, there was a response, "The in-depth fraud report on the Farmers Exchange. I am a libertarian and am all for the disclosure of insider dealings, but got a message from the person you disclosed," I'm presuming that's Suzanne Downey Hayes, "who was quite peeved by the way I'm the admin on the page, and she asked me to delete it. Anyway, just wondering if it's government or private issue." So 4 hours later, I responded, "Greetings, Erin. I presume she was peeved," because that was my intent. "The exchange of the property 20139 Landis is clear fraud. I have made it my life's work to expose the corrupt to the core government officials, and in this case, of the folks involved in this scam / the farm, it is a family issue as well. Peace and blessings." And then I sent her the new video where I went into more depth. It's a 12-minute video called "Fraud Verified, Washington County, Maryland Officials Complicit." And in that video also there is a exchange with a Washington County real estate official, and I asked her if she's ever seen a dead person sell a piece of property 2 years after they were dead for $0, and she said no. But that's on there. That's a 12.5-minute video. So if you want to check out that, it's called "Fraud Verified, Washington County, Maryland Officials Complicit." Then she replies, and this is nearly 20 hours after the original correspondence. "I understand what you're doing, and I commend you for it. Unfortunately, I don't think it's appropriate for the Farmers Exchange page, so I'm going to have to delete it. I'll keep an eye open on your page, and thanks for keeping us all posted." So I haven't been back to check and see if she removed it, but it is on the Washington County Chamber of Commerce page, and it has not been removed from there as of just before airtime. And again, I haven't shared that with that many people. It's only been up for like a day and a half, and it already has 135 views. And it doesn't matter if it had one view. I mean, she saw it, and these folks are documenting it. There was another post on something called Hagerstown Rant. Let's go back and see what that says. This says, I posted the video, the sequel, which is called "Fraud Verified, Washington County, Maryland Officials Complicit." And then I posted on Hagerstown Rant, which has over 700 folks on the page. The other one, the Farmers Exchange, that had, I think it was like maybe several thousand. But anyways, verified proof of clear fraud. Man sells farm for $0 in 2008. 2 years after his death, 4 years later, owner sells property to individual with exact same name, again for $0. And I go into detail about who's doing it and their connections to the to the property and so forth. And then John Kraus responded, weren't very concerned about covering their tracks, eh? And they weren't, obviously, but they didn't think that they need to. They can just do whatever they want. They did it anyways, and now they think that they can cover their tracks by, strong-arming folks who like the information to remove the information. So I thought that was interesting, that the woman said she liked it, and that she wasn't going to remove it, and then she all of a sudden changed her mind. Must have been a little more pressure than the first time. And said Suzanne Downey Hayes was peeved the first time. So if she was peeved the first time and she didn't do anything, she must have upped her ante. John Krause, I'm responding to him. Suzanne Downey Hayes is contacting Facebook admins requesting they remove posts regarding this incident. According to the admin of the Farmers Exchange, one of the persons exposed she is quite peeved. They have not seen my old computer, and the N stinks. Excuse me. Sticks. So it says see, but it should be seen. Seen anything yet? It seems the public officials were covering each other's tracks, and they did not think anybody would look into this issue. And he responds, stick it to them. I'm tired of the corruption. It is choking this town. Amen, John Krause. It's choking Hagerstown, and it's choking every town, because this shit that I see in Washington County is the same exact shit with the Economic Development Authority in the city of Richmond. The freaking Venture Richmond is equivalent to the Chamber of Commerce up there. The same bullshit. If they want a fucking property, or if they want to give somebody a property, if they want to get a cut of a property, their guys are going to have the inside shot, and everybody knows everybody else. And they're corrupt, and they don't even abide by their own fucking rules. So, I mean, I must say, like, we do have an audience in the other room, and I think that we give a lot of information. Like, it's, I know that I've been contacted, and Glenn has been on like these international, widely known shows as experts, folks with information that other that people, I should say, with information that other folks don't have, where they go like, well, I heard this, or I think this, or this might be the case. Like, we know this shit. Mm-hmm. We know like who the movers and shakers in all these, in Pennsylvania, in Annapolis, in Richmond, in Washington D.C., in Hagerstown, in Berkeley County,
anywhere
in Petersburg. We know who's doing what where. We know who's doing the shit in fucking in specific spots in foreign countries. So what we're saying is this is the program. I will say this is the program. This is the counterintelligence, cell operation of the body of the people. If you ever wondered what happened to like the original founders, and you look at Alex Jones and you say, yeah, that's just not quite it. That seems a little bit too Jewy. That seems a little bit too professional wrestling. That seems a little bit too shiesty. It seems like they leave out the most important part. Rock star. Yes. Russell Brand. Mark Dice. Luke Radowski. If you think those guys seem phony, Adam Kokesh. It's because they are. It's because they are not the descendants of the body of the people. They are not the descendants of the founding fathers. They do not want the Constitution. They don't even comprehend the Constitution. They don't get it. We comprehend it. We get it. We are the descendants. We have been running the show around here until the usurpations, from the 1600s up to about the 20th century, and then even after that. But again, slowly they're taking the real American, they're taking the body of the people, and they're attempting to put us on our knees, and they're saying, hands up, don't shoot. And everybody else is saying, we'll put our hands up, and we won't fucking shoot, and we'll go fucking vote for these crooks, and we'll fucking, please say, oh, please do this one small thing that could quite possibly, in a small way, be considered constitutional, and then we'll suck your dick. Man, we say, fuck you to you out there who's like, some elections, or we think your heart's in the right place, or this is a public meeting and you're violating the peace. You're not being peaceful, man, sir. The meeting hasn't even gone to order. Is this a public meeting?
It's a private meeting.
What's the rules of the meeting? Yeah, this is a public meeting. Then it's a private meeting. And in the meantime,
you're not welcome here. We don't want to hear you. My head's been bludgeoned, but it's unbowed. I don't care for you people.
Yeah, but they're not people.
I don't.
You see,
there's
persons.
I don't care
they're citizens. They're agents of the government. They are sycophants, but they are certainly not of the body of the people. That is a privilege. It's a privilege to live free. It is. I have not always been privileged to live free. I am free now. I am free as we speak. At this moment, I am free. I will always be free. Live free or die. Yep. Sic semper tyrannis. Thus always to tyranny. Thus always to tyrants. So, if you want to be free, go for it. Join us. We'll be out at the state capitol, and we'll be communicating with you a lot more before then. January 14th, high noon. Since it's the solstice day, we'll say high noon. That's when, the sun is at its highest on the horizon. That's very important. At high noon, our hour, high noon, the hour of enlightenment, the hour of the light. We will, we're gonna muster. We're gonna hold a press conference. We're gonna start, corralling the members of the House of Delegates and get
our demand.
I mean, this is our demand because again, we're saying like each time we're gonna do this, we're gonna say like, look, these guys are taking our stuff and they're not violent. Stop paying your taxes. Start burning your DMV cards. They don't mean fucking shit. They don't mean fucking a God blessed thing. They're evil. They're against God. They're against natural law. They're against common law. They're against the Constitution of the United States. They're against the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia. And if other folks want to do that, that's fine. We're going to get the strings of the power. We're going to pull the strings. We're going to be the ones divvying out the dole then. Not you. We're not going to be debt slaves to you. You guys are pathetic.
You're the reason we're here now.
You're the reason we are here, and we are challenging you right to your face. And instead of standing up when you're exposed and saying like, oh, we got caught, exposed, we're completely got our pants down, and it's exposed that we are nothing but corrupt criminals and that we're doing these obvious frauds. Instead of that, you degenerate scumbags get pissed off and get angry at the folks, that are, just holding the information out there. It's public information. Suzanne Downey Hayes is peeved. Oh yeah, give me a call. Get peeved at me. I'd love to talk to you. I got some questions for you.
Yeah.
Get peeved with me. Instead, you get peeved at a freaking Facebook admin? Come on. What a joy. Good job. Great. Bravo, Suzanne Downey Hayes. You get caught red freaking handed, and then you get angry at a Facebook admin. Oh, good job. Well, get angry at the admin on your own, Chamber of Commerce page, because that shit's still up there. I got video to prove that. So, and I'm videotaping everything. I have lots of conversations with more public officials about this. But anyways, this is it. This is what we're doing. Again, Glenn has exposed some, just blatant election fraud that can't be refuted. Glenn's exposed the connections between Monsanto march against Monsanto, and it's the same fucking thing at the local, national, and international level, and that been on shows like Vinny Eastwood and on Randall Bundy's page, and they call me up to fucking talk about like how international government functions on international television, and say like, well, this is Chris Dorsey, he's an economist and he's an expert on the law and international banking and government. So, I mean, we really do need some more assistance in marketing. We need maybe some more assistance in some technical things that we're doing. But again, this is just an intelligence debriefing. If one person saw this, then they're one of the people now. We know that they're watching. They're freaking out. They're freaking out about what we're doing. And they don't want to change. They just want to remove the information. They just
want us to shut up.
Well, they just want us to shut up.
I won't sit down. I won't shut up. And I will not go away.
Yeah, we are never going to surrender. We will never surrender. We will always be in their faces. We'll get a lot of video of the cops tomorrow. We'll get a lot of video of the left and right fucking controlled opposition.
Whatever happens.
We'll get it. It'll be on film. And again, like, it's like, that's all we can do. That is document what's happening.
Back up what we say.
We got the fraud. Like, again, like it's like there is no enforcement of the law. If you look at a law enforcement officer, you're only looking at your own enemy, an occupying army force. You might as well. You're looking at I'm trying to think of an occupying force besides the United States military. You're looking at a British soldier during the Revolutionary War time, but it's worse than that now. It's worse. You're looking at an agent of the State of Israel in your
Mossad,
you're looking at a Mossad agent when you're looking at a police officer.
New York is now training over in Israel. They have a police station over in Israel now. Look it up.
Look up local police forces being trained by the Mossad. Look up Homeland Security.
They just announced that one at they have a New York
substation.
Substation in Israel.
There's been an exchange between the New York NYPD and the Israeli Defense Forces and Mossad. Just tying that in. But anyway, you're looking at a. It doesn't even matter because it doesn't mean it's foreign anyways, because the Federal Reserve Bank, it's controlled by a bank in a foreign country and has mostly foreign ownership, but also it's just what controls you except for what is mandated to control you, which is the government that you control, the government of, by, and for the people. Instead, this is the government of, by, and for the bank. The Federal Reserve Bank, the international banking cartel, their international world government arm, the United Nations, the IMF, the NATO, the World Bank, and even foreign governments like China and Russia, and especially Israel. But, they give away interest to foreign governments all the time. We even have, nothing wrong with the Spanish government, I guess, besides the fact that they have a fucking shitbag fucking royal family. They own highways in the metro area. So like, even if it's just like a country like Spain that you're like, well, at least it's not fucking Russia, China, or Israel. They own shit in here, and like infrastructure, like the roads. So
tell them to fix them then.
Right. Tell them to fix right. But yeah,
I think we're.
I guess we're getting close. We've been on for about 2 hours now, and I just want to thank anybody and everybody who
thank all those that watch us, support us. We'll keep going. You keep watching.
Yeah, God bless, and this is the only thing that matters as far as the government goes. Everything else is a distraction. Everything else is like the antithesis. And we covered it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what any so-called government official says, because If you're talking to a government official, you're talking to your servant.
All right. Well, this has been Get the News Straight. I'm Glenn Sutphin. This has been Chris Dorsey. Y'all have a happy, Merry Christmas. Oh, you know.
Merry Christmas, Happy Solstice.
Solstice. Yule. Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad.
Joyous Noel.
Ah, yes.
And for all you atheists, have a good day.
God bless.
Peace.
Peace.